Hello from Neil and from me. Welcome to the programme.
First tonight, one man's extraordinary escape after his tractor brought down power lines in South Norfolk.
Chris Vincent, a 56-year-old father of two, was working in fields at Beddingham near Bungay when the accident happened. He was trapped in his cab for almost an hour, knowing one false move could lead to him being electrocuted by an 11,000-volt power cable.
Today, he's been talking to Malcolm Robertson about how he survived.
Farming's in Chris Vincent's blood. He's been driving a tractor all his life, but it's not without its dramas. On Thursday, Chris Vincent got the shock of his life. He was in a tractor in a field close to here when he struck an electricity pole, and that could have had tragic consequences. He was working in the nearby village of Beddingham and could have paid a heavy price for a moment's misjudgment. Today, he told me about those moments when live power wires turned his cab into a potential death trap.
There was a load of noise on top of the cab and sparks are flying. And then one wire broke coming down, and then a few seconds later another wire broke and one stayed lodged tightly on top of the cab, which was making a fair bit of noise. And I was just hoping the noise was going to stop. And when that did, and I thought, I'm lucky I'm still here.
He was in a tractor similar to this one. His two-way radio had failed, and then he noticed fire had broken out in his cab.
I did sort of think to myself, oh, well, I escaped being electrocuted, now I'm going to be burnt to death, but that was sort of thankful when that went out.
It went out because he poured squash over the flames. He then phoned EDF Energy and was delighted when they and the fire service turned up. The power was switched off and his 45-minute ordeal was over.
Luckily my number isn't up yet. Someone's on my side.
His boss was just delighted there was a happy ending and he'd followed the correct procedures.
We let the guys know where all the overhead power cables are if you take on a new farm. It's all there written down what to do in the event of an accident, but nevertheless it still takes a bit of presence of mind to do that.
Earlier this month, a tractor driver in West Norfolk was killed when his machine came into contact with an 11,000-volt cable. 45 people are killed in agricultural accidents every year, 1,500 farm workers are injured, and every year 2 people die as a result of coming into contact with overhead power lines. The health and safety executives say if a driver has to leave his machine, he should jump with both feet landing on the ground at the same time and keep jumping until clear of the danger zone. What Chris Vincent did was textbook stuff.
A lucky guy, but he made his own luck. He stayed calm and collected and did it right. He followed the guidance that's out there and what to do if you contact power lines.
Chris Vincent's friends tease him by calling him Sparky. He can laugh about it now, but he knows how close he came to a very tragic end. Malcolm Robertson, Anglia News, South Norfolk.
An incredible escape. An Essex woman thought to be the heaviest in Britain at 45 stone has died aged 40.
Sharon Mev-Simler from Chelmsford had a heart attack in Broomfield Hospital. Her aunt has told Anglia Tonight that claims in national newspapers that her family was secretly feeding her junk food were untrue. Kate Prout reports.
Sharon Mev-Simler was well aware that she was literally eating herself to death. The 40-year-old who lived in Chelmsford had been given many warnings that her heart couldn't take the strain. And when we last met her 3 years ago, she was determined to get better.
It really affects the whole family, really, seeing me like this, because it's not easy. With having, I can't go out, and it just upsets me all the time.
Sharon died of a heart attack on Saturday in Broomfield Hospital. The national newspapers have suggested that during her 2-month stay there, her family was smuggling in junk food and takeaways. They said witnesses saw them bringing fish and chips and buckets of fried chicken. But today, her aunt, who wouldn't go on camera, denied the allegations, telling us the papers had got it all wrong. Sharon's problems began while suffering from postnatal depression, which led to comfort eating. This was her aged 17. 20 years later, she weighed 42 stone. She often said if she'd been anorexic, she would have received more help.
We have assumed that everybody is responsible for what they're eating and for the exercise that they take. And if they want to be fat, they want to be fat, and let them go on with it. But the problem is that comes with fatness medical conditions which are even worse than the fatness by itself. And on behalf of both the patient and also society, we really have got to attack that.
Sharon was 45 stone when she died, 4 stone lighter than Paul Mason from Ipswich. Before he underwent gastric bypass surgery earlier this year, he was declared the world's most obese man, weighing 70 stone. The St John Ambulance is investing in more bariatric vehicles to transport patients. In Essex, they launched their first specially designed ambulance 2 months ago.
Certainly the inquiries and the call for this particular vehicle has increased since we launched in April. So we are looking to increase the vehicles that St John Essex can provide. And yes, I think that it's increasing out there, and you will see more vehicles on the road.
Broomfield Hospital said it couldn't comment on Sharon's case due to patient confidentiality. Although her death comes amid these controversial allegations, it does, however, serve as a warning of the dangers of extreme obesity and the impact it can have on people's lives. Kate Prout, Anglia News.
Firefighters are tackling a blaze at a whisky distillery in Norfolk. They were called to St George's Distillery in East Harling this afternoon. Crews from there, Thetford and Attleborough are at the scene. The Chemical Incident Unit has also been called out. The distillery was set up 4 years ago and is one of the only places in England making whisky.
Now it's 7 minutes past 6. At 6:30 we'll hand you over to London for the ITV National News.